Hello, my name is Dr. DJ Hamlin Brown. I'm the CEO of Careful, and I'm here to talk about how we can support you in one of the most difficult and expensive problems in healthcare, namely the discharge of patients from hospital. So, Careful is an app which is designed to complement and enhance existing systems. It digitizes the informal communications such as handover sheets, WhatsApp messages, spreadsheets, etc., which are used in order to support transitions of care, such as discharges, referrals, handovers, and so on. We are a team that knows about this problem. For my part, I was the Vice President of Medical Affairs for a large hospital group until the pandemic, and prior to that, the Group Medical Director of the fourth largest group of hospitals here in the UK. We have extensive experience of this problem, and we know how difficult it can be. So this problem is relatively easily stated. We know that admissions tend to occur earlier in the day, and then because they're more complicated, discharges tend to happen a bit later, and as a result, queues form in the hospital as the two don't overlap. So we know that what happens is, therefore, you get a large bulge of patients in the middle of the day. In one case, I was talking to an MD recently who said they can have up to 400 patients in a hospital fit for 280, which is a 140% occupancy rate in the middle of the day. And we all know what happens as a result. The hospital is overstretched, patients hate waiting around, staff are trying to deal with both discharges and admissions at the same time, and everybody suffers. So the question is, how do you sort this problem out? Well, what you need to concentrate on is the median hour of discharge. In other words, how early in the day people go home. So if we can shift the median hour of discharge, that's the time at which half your patients have gone home, from let's say 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock in the morning, we can make a massive difference to the availability of beds in the middle of the day. So this model would show that there's a difference of between 30 and 80% of beds available in the middle of the day, if you can just make that relatively small shift to getting people home earlier. And what that means is, it's not the efficiency of the discharge process, but how early you start that process, which is the key to reducing queues in the hospital. And we also know that the reason why discharges are difficult and take place later in the day is because discharge is a parallel process. Lots of different things have to happen at once or in close collaboration with each other, and people tend to use informal methods, phone calls, WhatsApp messages, spreadsheets, corridor conversations, whiteboards. The whole thing is used to manage the process. Even if the process is managed inside the hospital administration system, you're still managing that process outside of the digital estate. And so how can Careful help with this? Well, what we do is we digitize those informal systems. And as a result, we can create a highly visible, ultra high visibility patient status timeline, which tells you what is happening to the patients in the most in as much detail as you need. And it also provides a forward view of care, which shows what is happening to the patient next. In other words, who, and not just what is happening next, but who is responsible. And so you can get a real granular feel for what it is that is potentially holding up discharge, and who is responsible for that. And the Careful has a handover system that allows the individual accountability to pass between users seamlessly, so that nothing is forgotten. So in summary, what Careful helps answer is the three critical questions, which is what is happening now, what is happening next, and most importantly, who is responsible for moving the patient to the next stage. The other thing that Careful can do is to create a flexible team structure, which is configurable by you as users, and rapidly change that configuration in order to manage the process. So you can have different teams which help you to manage different parts of the challenge, and therefore Careful responds flexibly to the individual needs of the organisation. Just going to mention that whereas discharge is obviously one of the critical areas where Careful can help, we've also used it for acute and critical care handover, where the not forgetting things is really important. We've got multidisciplinary team meetings which happen across different spaces in time and place, where people need to collaborate on patients despite not being in the same room. We can have the support medical evacuation, which we've done for clients in the Far East. And that medical evacuation is like the ultimate transfer of care, transition of care, where patients are coming long distances, possibly across multiple institutions. We can use it for delivery suite monitoring, chronic disease management, and insurance and drug trial follow-up as well. So I will leave you with this last quote, which is from Joint Commission International, JCI. They point out that transitions of care really are the fault lines in patients' care, and they are the real challenge to good continuity of care. So Careful is here to help you improve the continuity of care for your patients. And if you'd like to know more, please do get in touch.